This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hello and welcome to Party Loaded. It is episode 101 for Wednesday the 1st of November, or as I like to think of it, episode 1 of season 2. My name's Luke Retallick, and welcome back to the show. We've got the full crew here tonight, fresh from our journey to PAX Australia. How's everyone feeling? How's the con crash? We've got Mimo, Ollie, and Jam. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
Nah.
I'm nice and cheerful. Hello.
That's it.
Tired.
Got to get then.
Feeling the post-PAX blues this week.
Yeah. I think we've all fairly effectively supplemented it with a ton of games and fun since we've gotten back, though. There's been no lack of things to do, at least.
We only got back yesterday, but yes, that's true.
Yeah. Well,
I have squeezed a lot in.
Well, Ollie and I got back a little bit.
We're not doing phrasing.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it too.
Oh,
As soon as I said it, I went, ah, shit.
All right. Well, anyway, obviously we have a pretty packed. I was about to say packed.
Freudian slip there.
You just call me fat.
No, fap.
That is the best.
Tonight's episode is pretty
best.
exciting. Let's just go with that. All right, we got lots of pack stuff
Wow,
to talk about.
we
That's
used
splitter.
all of our words on the weekend,
know,
fam.
I
So
know.
sorry.
You guys are
My words
best.
started the week.
Oh,
Well,
man.
it's probably not too far off the mark because this week of all of 2017, which has been a pretty insane year for games as it's been. I mean, this is pretty much the game-gasm week of the entire year. It's been everything coming to a head at once. So.
Yeah, and also there was a point at Sunday on the third day of PAX where I walked up to a controller and I picked it up and went, no, I'm good. And I put it back down and I walked away, which has never happened before in my life. But I had just enough video games at that very moment. And I just needed to go, I don't know, read something on paper or talk to another human being for a little bit.
I hope you've kicked that out of your system by now, though, yeah?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm over it.
Nice. No more human contact for Mimo. She's done.
No, I'm all good.
No.
I'm set.
All good. All right. Well, where should we start tonight? Should we? I think it's probably appropriate to kick off with a game that you ladies got playing before PAX began proper, to sort of go chronologically. So you want to kick off with some Animal Crossing action? What's going on with this thing?
Animal Crossing! Yay! So Animal Crossing Pocket Camp was released for iOS and Android, ? Oh yeah, no, Mark was playing it. Which is the Animal Crossing port or just mobile game, basically. And it is safe to say that it is a game that you very quickly become obsessed with. Jam can buy lots of shoes.
Yes.
So that's a bonus. Hats, sunglasses.
A dress.
Mm-hmm. She can paint her camper. So it's like GTA, but instead of killing people and blowing up helicopters, you are making friends with animals and collecting them fish and bugs.
That's the best comparison I've ever heard. Just like GTA. Awesome.
It's very true.
You drive around in a little van. You visit lots of different places. You can trick out your van so it looks all cool. You can make friends. You invite your friends to come over and at your place and you buzz them in and they come in. Yeah, it's just like GTA.
It's
If
very
you've
real
played both
lifey.
GTA and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sure. All right. So this thing's free, isn't
good.
it?
It came just at the right time. It's free. There is microtransactions, but at today, I really haven't found a need at all for those microtransactions.
Oh, that's good.
I haven't hit a wall.
Hmm.
I don't. And Jam's played a lot more than I have. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
it's been good for in between bits and pieces while for the week we're in Melbourne when everyone's sitting around the apartment a bit, zoned out. We just jump on Animal Crossing. and
Is it? Ba-ding,
you know,
ba-ding.
pick some apples.
Yeah. Oh,
The weird
thing.
The weird thing is that your friends won't come visit your camp unless you've got very particular kind of furniture. They're fussy bastards, which
That's what I
means
feel
you
like
have
it's in
to
real life.
acquire more things.
Well, it's like GTA, right? Unless you have a yacht, like we're not going to join your squad. So
Oh, that's the only reason you play with me. Damn.
pretty much.
Glad I
pretty
got that
much.
yacht.
Hashtag buying friends.
It's good. You have to link it to your Nintendo account, and I've never had one of those. So
Oh, you
it
have to
annoys
this
me
time.
that there's
It's
a
not just
goal.
optional.
You don't have to.
I
So
haven't yet.
if you have one, you can. And you get bonuses for linking your Nintendo thing. There was a question about you can just add friends, and the more friends you have, like it's super beneficial to have lots of friends in the game. If you don't know these people in real life, because they can help you with things. But there was a question of whether or not those people are now friends in your Nintendo account, which I don't understand. So
I don't think
I
so.
I don't
Because
think so,
haven't
'cause you're not
linked
getting
a Nintendo
details.
account. Yeah.
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 I think it's just in game. All you get is their screen name, which is very basic. So
Yeah,
not
it's
an
a very
account name.
addictive mobile game where you collect stuff and make friends,
So
and it's cute.
what's the progression
Very
sort
cute.
of built on in the game? Is it literally just collecting, or is there actually some sort of leveling up or development of a village or a
It
community?
looks like
or-
you can expand your camp and improve some of the amenities on it over time.
Right.
You can expand and build up your van. Somehow you can make it double story. I don't know how far beyond that it goes because I haven't spent
Physics.
too much time. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense because from the outside it doesn't look that much bigger.
It's the TARDIS. You're basically
It is.
building a TARDIS.
Nice.
As far as I can tell, the ultimate goal is to have the most friends.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
So
by paying them off with nice furniture to look at.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
It's a bit odd, but it's cute. We run into each other because we friended each other every now and then. Each other's characters will just pop up out in the wilderness, and you
Just
go,
hanging
"Oh,
out.
That's Memo. She's
Yeah,
at
you
the
could
barbecue. Cool.
Visit Jam's like little camp and give her kudos. You send them kudos to your friends. You can buy stuff from their marketplace, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, and then randomly you'll just catch little weirdos hanging out in the corner of your camp, just hanging out with fans. Or Mark had a really great one. He just lost it laughing, and he showed me his phone. There's just one guy way back in the corner of his camp, not near anything, like no chairs, no nothing, and he's just got maracas, and he's just slowly shaking maracas, facing the corner, and it was so bizarre. Yeah, if we capture more gold, maybe we'll put it up on the party loaded thing because there is some bizarre characters in this game. I'm fairly sure I got drunk with somebody, but they talked about it being a great way to absorb all my vitamins. So
it was actually
like,
some
oh,
kind of
there was
health juice.
a fruit blender, but then like the picture of my what are they called? Meebos? I don't know what they're called. What are they called?
The Mees or the
The Mees, yeah. Was like half-lidded, like head lolling back, like kind of sleepy bubbles coming out of me, and I'm like, are they implying that I'm drunk? What's happening here?
Interesting.
Yeah, and having never played an actual Animal Crossing game, I mean, this is pretty good. I imagine Animal Crossing's got a lot more to it than Pocket
Yeah.
Camp does.
For sure.
But yeah, the chance of wearing star sunglasses is a bonus.
No, I get the impression because Animal Crossing games seem to like lean so hard into the cosmetics stuff that would be a lot more fun when you're doing the multiplayer aspect of it. So I think phone's probably a better platform for it for that kind of thing than DS, in my opinion at least. So yeah. That seems good. Well,
It was
seems
a
like
great plan. I was like, this will be great for PAX when I'm standing in lines and stuff, but it requires an internet connection, and that was not a thing that you get at PAX. It was my
Some
provider.
people did.
Some
Yeah.
people did.
Oh,
Yeah, but then they sold all your numbers to people in Cambodia, Jam, so have fun with all of those phone calls.
damn it.
Oh dear. All right. Well, let me see if I can play this game then. So I got home and loaded up Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. Now, Wolfenstein's kind of like Pokemon if all of the Pokemon were Nazis and instead of capturing them, you killed them brutally. How does that? Is that all right?
No.
No. All right.
Mine was a much better comparison.
Okay. All right. So Wolfenstein 2. I've probably put about 2 or 3 hours into it so far. I was really excited to load it up when I got home. And it is a game that does not fuck around. Let me say that. It is pretty much balls to the wall from the absolute first scene in that game. It does a really, really cool recap of the events in the New Order. So if you haven't played through the New Order, I would recommend playing through the New Order before playing this game anyway, because I think that the story elements are strong enough to make that a worthwhile activity. I think you probably do want to do one before the other. But if for whatever reason you don't, you do get a really good recap when you first go into this one. And or even to the extent that there's this thing they do in the New Order, which this isn't a spoiler at all because it's right at the beginning of the game, and it literally changes the way that the game plays out depending on what you do. So, your game will be different to someone else's. There's a couple of choices that you make very early on in the New Order that, based on what you select, and you're basically picking between two characters in a particular scenario, it actually changes some of the active characters in the game that you interact with. You actually get to redo that choice in the beginning of the new Colossus based on like a flashback scene. So the idea being that it continues on the story with those characters into the sequel, which is really cool. So, Ollie, you might remember it's not too dissimilar to how The Witcher 3 handles it. So, in The Witcher 3, how you sort of get interviewed by that character who asks you about the events of previous games. Yeah, it's kind of similar to that, but it's done as a flashback scene. So it's pretty well done. So, yeah, it sort of goes through the events up until this point, and then it kicks right in. And, there is some stuff in the opening part of this game that is extremely confronting to the point that, Ollie, I think you will actually have some issues with it. And I give you the warning now.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't really sort of say too much more, but I know you, and I know there's something in particular that you might find a bit tricky. So, I'll just leave it at that. Because this game is set in America, of course. So the previous one was in Germany. You're basically in there like as a rogue soldier trying to, take down the German war machine. And stuff happens towards the end of that game. The theatre of war shifts to America, where the Germans are basically in power. They've taken over the entire world by that point. There's a short time jump between games, not too much. But at the beginning of the new Colossus, you as BJ Blazkowicz are kind of pretty fucked up. Like you've been injured pretty heavily. Now, you start the game, and this is not sort of anything surprising if anyone's seen any of the trailers for the game, because you basically start off in a wheelchair and you have to sort of fight your way sort of out of the situation you find yourself in at the very beginning in a wheelchair. I got to say, the way they did wheelchair combat is really, really good. It's super cool. So it actually it performs very, very well in tight spaces. Being in a wheelchair gives you an added sort of little advantage sometimes, sort of ducking below enemies' line of sight, which is kind of surprising. But it becomes like a bit of a puzzle, because there's some areas that you would normally be able to walk through that you can't when you've got a wheelchair. So you have to make the most of like some of the various different conveyor belts and bits of machinery that can actually push you up and down without having to need to walk over ladders and things like that. It's really well done. So no, I haven't gotten super far into the game. I've gotten through the first couple of big cutscenes introducing like the villains and things like that. Already loving it. It is very, very cool. I cannot wait to play more, and I think I'm going to be chewing through this one for a good week or so at least. So, and the audio has been done by my very, very well liked composer, Mr. Mick Gordon. So that's a big plus too. The soundtracks sounding pretty good. So lots of good stuff to look forward to. Mm-hmm. I'll talk more about that probably next week, because I think there'll be a lot more to say once I've played more than about 3 hours. But opening impressions are very, very good. So, opening impressions of something else. Ollie, you're now finally playing Destiny. So
I am.
What's going on?
You stole my segue. I was going to say that. Yeah, Destiny 2. I'm finally playing it on the PCs. So I've only I'll say I've dabbled. I've made my Titan. I'm a whole 5 levels. Just made my way to Titan. Being cool. The game is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Game is pretty. But yeah, then we found out, not just before the show started, how much Jams may have done in Destiny 2.
Even I was surprised by this.
What's your confession? What's your confession?
I flew back from Melbourne yesterday. I woke up this morning and purchased Destiny 2 on PC, because turns out, about 6 of our friends at least are getting it. Had to download it over the interweebles, and I finished the story and hit level 20.
What the fuck? Seriously?
I'm a machine.
Yeah.
I'd done it all a whole bunch. Actually, the cool thing was there was a section of the final mission that I missed the first time around.
Oh,
I'm
really?
the only character I'd previously completed it. Yeah, because I ended up getting looked out by a wall. And it was only little, but it was really cool to see it finally. I'd been meaning to get around to completing it again so that I understood why no one could tell me what was happening because they were stressed.
Ah.
Yeah, no, it's lovely on PC. I think it's prettier on my PS4 Pro with my 4K TV because that's a bit of a better setup and a nicer screen. But I mean, it's still just as pretty. The game is freaking fun. One weird thing I will say, I'm being a pleb and playing on an Xbox controller on my PC.
Okay.
And
What?
when I try and exit the game using the controller, it doesn't exit. I have to go to keyboard to hit the exit button because I say, okay, yeah, let's exit, I'm sure. And it's just back to menu. It's like,
Right.
no, you're not leaving. Keep going, keep playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
But
your
no,
excuse, is it? The
Well-
game wouldn't let me quit.
Yeah. I wasn't even playing all day. I did other stuff too.
Oh, God. All right.
I just powered through it, man. And then I finished the story on level 18 and a half, and I thought, oh, man, I'm not going to make 20 before the podcast. And did a few things in the social area, and suddenly, bam, level 20, all this stuff's unlocked for you. And I went, oh, sweet,
Nice.
did it. Success, great success.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking forward to getting my light up, because my light is shithouse.
Yeah.
It's less than 200 at the moment, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember us working our way through on PS4. Your light tended to sort of scale pretty well to your level for most of the time. So about
Yeah.
10% of it. Yeah. Oh, well, I'll ask Ollie then.
I
'cause-
got my sunshot.
Oh, you got that again. All right. Ollie, I'm going to ask you because obviously Jan's been weird and playing with a controller still. How are you finding the PC controls on Destiny?
They're fairly intuitive. I'm actually using the buttons on my mouse now that are like the weird little side ones. I don't really use those in other games. A lot of people will be very angry when they hear me say that. So yeah, it's fairly intuitive. The thing I have to get used to the most for PC games, especially because I've been playing a lot of PUBG, like just tapping to fire rather than holding down fire like you can in Destiny is a bit of a like got to get used to it again. I can just hold down fire and just spray. And that's okay. I tend to punch a lot of things, I've noticed, actually, as a Titan. I'm
It's
just
the best.
running up and punching people. I'm like, this does the most damage. Punch. Punch, punch, punch.
Yeah.
So I just punch a lot of people. It's great. But yeah, I'm level 5 and 57 light, or 54 light, something around there.
Yep.
So yeah, works out about right.
That sounds about accurate, yeah.
But yeah. It's incredibly easy to hit weak points, though, with a keyboard and mouse.
Yep. Yeah,
And
can
I am
imagine.
okay with this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
see, I'm just giving myself a handicap, man.
Yeah, it sounds like you need it, Miss One Day Story Mode.
I skipped all the cutscenes, or I stood up and went and, got a drink or whatever I needed to do. But I was not paying attention to the story,
That
and I
being
was
said-
not pausing for anything.
In your defense, you've played it through already once.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a
So-
bit, because I had a level something Titan.
Yeah.
Along
Whereas
with my
I
Warlock on
am
PlayStation.
listening to the cutscenes and stuff like that because I've not played it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and I just know where to go. Oh, this mission. Okay, I'm going to go around here, jump up there, hop, 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 hop.
Yeah, I'm constantly
Bam.
pressing tab to bring up my little objective marker. I'm like, where am I going? Over there. Okay.
That being said, though, Jan, the first time you went through, you would have been doing some of those missions multiplayer with either Memo or I, so that theoretically would have made things a bit quicker. So, yeah.
Quick Jam, carry me through
Maybe.
the missions.
Can do, buddy. 10-4, let me know when. I'm off work till Monday.
Oh Jesus. So you're gonna have 3 maxed out characters by Monday, right?
Oh, no, it's by no means maxed. I'm only like half the light I should be. Or
Yeah,
just
but that was
over.
after 1 day, so it only take you 2 or 3 days,
It
right?
doesn't- yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll fill you in next week.
Yeah, I might be
Okay.
able to get a character to level 20 over the weekend. I've finished the game twice now, so I have a pretty good idea what to do. So, yeah, I might have a crack at that, see if I can get that leveled up. But, yes, you've got lots of fun stuff to look forward to when you get up a bit higher level, Ollie, because I think it's around 15 that the strike's open, is that right? I think it's 15. Yeah.
I don't know.
well,
I
it's
just cruised on past.
Yeah, you didn't stop to smell the roses at all. That's interesting. Yeah. Nice.
The most poodling I did was oh, required level 15. I'm level 14. Okay, I'll go shoot something for 30 seconds to...
Yep.
There wasn't much side questing.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, anyway, Destiny talk aside, let's continue on the Destiny talk for just a second longer and as we kick into news. So I was going to sort of suggest we talk about Paris Game Week first, but this makes sense to cover off first. Destiny 2 expansion has been officially revealed, so the trailer is up. So Curse of Osiris is going to be launching on the 5th of December. So,
that guy.
Yes.
Does it look good? Because I haven't watched it yet.
It looks interesting.
Not watched the trailer yet? You should probably get on that. So, yeah, so Osiris...
I was busy playing Destiny.
You're busy living.
Not good enough. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Well, the cool thing is that it looks like they're actually bringing all platforms into line with that release date. So it's actually going to be out on December 5th for PS4, PC, and Xbox One. So that's good.
Does it include a raid?
I'm pretty sure it does. I don't know if the raid will go live immediately, though. So, yeah.
We need to raid release date so that we can take a day off work and smash through it in 6 hours.
Plan all that together. Yeah, that'll be quite cool. Yeah. So the next add-on after this one's scheduled for next US spring, so that'll be sort of Q2 next year, I would expect. So yeah, it's themed heavily around Osiris being the warlock mentor of Ikora Rey, who's one of the main characters from the game. So yeah, lots of Vex featuring in this one too, apparently. So the rogue body enemies that you fight a fair bit on Nessus in the game, which are some of my favorite enemies in the game. Actually, I quite like the Vex. I think they're interesting, and a lot of their tech is very, very fun to come up against. So yeah. Trailer looks good. You should check it out. There's lots of links to it around the web, and I think that the timing is not bad either, because I think PlayStation players are at that point where they're really craving some new content. PC players obviously will have a little bit longer to sort of get to the end game.
At least
stuff,
a week.
Yeah, that's right. But there'll be a lot of people who will sort of go over from PS4 and play on PC as well, and they'll be just as ready for new content soon. So that is good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we need to finish the Leviathan raid first, I think. We've got to get a bunch of people together and finish it on PS4 or PC. I don't care which. I just want to do it. So yeah, we've come so close. We can't stop now. So Paris Games Week, did you guys see any of the trailers? Anything that took your fancy? Ollie, you were just watching The Last of Us one before we started. What did you think of that?
It looks suitably grim and gritty. No, that's about it. It was just grim and gritty. It didn't really give much away at all, apart from there's some religious nut jobs in it. And I won't say more than that. Really, looks pretty.
Yeah,
looks. If that was in-game engine, I'm very impressed.
I was surprised that it didn't show in the trailer any characters that we knew. It was like totally sort of different people. Yeah, that was weird.
I'm okay with that.
Well, it kind of makes you wonder whether there's going to be a time jump, or whether it's going to be new cast for part of the story, or whether the existing cast are kind of featured in different ways. I don't know. It's really hard to tell from a single trailer, but they did show quite a bit, which I was actually surprised the trailer was as long as it was. It was good few minutes.
Yeah, it was nearly 5 minutes.
Yeah. So
lengthy trailer.
They're definitely going for a pretty brutal angle, though. That there's some captives being pretty severely mistreated in this one, to the point of some of the grimmer scenes that you might see in something like The Walking Dead. So I don't think it's going to be everyone's cup of tea. Actually, I think there's going to be probably a bunch of people that watch this trailer and maybe even get turned off. So I mean, not that the first game was pretty I guess wholesome in any way. It
confronting,
was
shall we say?
Yeah, that's probably a good description for it. Yeah, I don't know. Did you think it was violence for violence sake, or did you think it actually fit in with the theme?
I mean, without more context, it appears to be violence for the violence sakes, but I have a feeling that once you know who the people involved are in the game, when you're in the game and whatnot, it'll make a lot more sense.
The first game was excellent at making all of the characters understandable. So I don't doubt that they'll provide context for it.
Yeah.
So there will be context. We'll find out. We'll see. It's too early to tell much.
Yeah, that's fair. Mimo, where did you fall on Last of Us? Because I know you started playing it a while back and didn't sort of get too far in. Are you likely to go back to that at some point?
She's probably going la 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 with her fingers in her ears. Because you can't be trusted.
Yeah, no, I still want to play. You guys are going to be busy with PC Destiny, so there's a bunch I have to catch up on.
Yep, probably a good
It's on the list.
chance. Yep, nice. Shadow of the Colossus trailer looks really, really nice. This is one of those games that, like when it was really, really big with the initial launch, I kind of missed it, and I felt a bit bad for that afterwards because it was, obviously raved about by a lot of people. But I got the impression that in today's, day and age, the standard of the game in terms of the graphics and the gameplay maybe didn't hold up as well as it should have. But the fact that the remake is coming out gives me a lot of, hope to look forward to something that actually does stand up to what you expect today. So that's
looks gorgeous in the trailer.
That horse physics, that looks really good. Yeah, they've done some
Sure.
good work. Yeah, it is cool. Interestingly, in the trailer, they don't show any of the Colossi, so I don't know what.
No, it's all scenery.
Yeah. It's just like a nice little roam across the countryside, and very, very large sort of structures and scenery and signs of ruined civilization, but no actual Colossi. So that's interesting. Did you actually play and finish the original, Ollie? Is that something you did?
I definitely played it. I genuinely cannot remember if I finished it or not.
Okay.
I definitely played it a bunch, though.
Do you have any recollection as to roughly how many of the big boss monsters there were in that game? Was it sort of like a large number?
Oh,
or?
God. I genuinely could not remember. It was some time ago.
Right.
I think it's like over 10 years ago now.
Yeah. Well, you're probably in a good position to go and enjoy it all over again then when that comes out without remembering too much.
Yeah, it's just a vague memory of platforming and climbing giant things. That's all I have of that game, basically.
Yeah. No, fair enough. There was also an updated trailer for Spider-Man, so Marvel's Spider-Man by Insomniac.
Spider-Man!
Which is looking pretty cool. The thing that surprised me, though, is in that trailer it looks like Peter Parker's actually friends with Miles Morales. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Obviously, one Spider-Man and a future Spider-Man actually knowing each other a bit more is something that's totally out of whack with how the comics present those two characters. But, don't know. This looks like a bit of an alternate kind of time setting, sort of almost like an Ultimate Marvel kind of spin on the Spider-Man universe rather than sticking to the strict story. So, yeah, it could be interesting. Wait and see for that one. But Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, is pretty clearly in it. And there's another couple of villains that flashed up that I didn't quite recognise. One of them looked a little bit like Shocker, but I wasn't able to make it out. So, I don't know, someone will probably scrub through that and point some of them out after the fact. But it's looking cool. So, yeah. And some other trailers which we'll get to shortly because it kind of relates to stuff that we saw at PAX. So, Mimo, I'm going to throw it to you now. Do you want to kick us off into our big discussion topic for tonight? Let's get going.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, if you weren't aware, one thing that we did in the last week and why you didn't hear us last week is because we were at PAX for 3 days. One thing that we do every year that kicks that off is we had one of the organisers on the show recently as well, Ewan. We go to the Child's Play charity auction. Well, most of us do. So 3 out of the 4.
I wanted to, but yeah, I couldn't justify this year, unfortunately.
So, yes, so we went to the quiz night. I am sad to report that Team Good Day Sir lost again.
We came about 8th. I think that's
You're not
a step
selling me
up.
on this team.
We were middle of
Pretty
the
sure
pack.
it's a step up.
We came in the top half. It was a solid sort of showing. We did okay. We did all right. We failed
all right.
miserably in the truth by consensus round. There was a lot of dissension in the ranks, and we did officially say that if Imogen was proved right and everyone else chose the other option, that I was allowed to be smug about it. So I'm going to be smug about it.
Nice.
Which one was that? I don't even remember.
That was the one about good actor, bad actor. So the very first question in the truth by consensus, so this is a round that is decided by whatever the majority answer. And the first question was Nicolas Cage, good actor or bad actor? And myself and Ben, who was one of the US Omeganauts who joined us on our team, had decided and said he was a good actor. And also we said that even if you think he's a bad actor, the universal room is going to say good actor because that's the whole meme. That's the point of the Nicolas Cage meme is that he's, ironically good or whatever. So it was definitely going to be good. And everyone's like, no, bad actor, bad actor, bad actor. And so Ben said, all right, But if we are right, we reserve the right to be entirely smug about it. And guess what? We were the only table that said bad actor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nicolas
They
Cage
said
is a great actor.
all but one.
I'm
So
playing
proud
Nicolas
of my
Cage.
answer.
Yeah,
true.
exactly right. So we did engage smug mode at that point. No, but it was really good. We had a really great time. There was $7,400 raised for Child's Play, which is awesome. Sorry, 7,200, which brought their total to just over 24,000 over the 4 years, which is absolutely astronomical for a group of nerds sitting on the third level of a game store.
Yeah.
Organised by
I
two
was
very
happy.
enthusiastic quiz goers. Yes, and Jam was very
I
happy.
was happy because a chunk of that was mine because I went in on the silent auction for a stack of D&D stuff. There were like
Which was super fun to
14
transport
literal
back to
stuff.
Western Australia.
Yeah.
Super fun.
14 books and other assorted bits and pieces. Yeah, I can't believe I won it.
Yeah, it was
So
sort of,
many
we were
books.
sitting there staring at this stack of books, and when Jam won it, everyone just went, so how are we getting it home?
Hi, friendship, can I borrow some bag space? I mean, yeah, I had to pay excess baggage for sure.
Oh, yeah, you did.
That was a heavy suitcase, but so worth it. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, you did well.
So excited. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Get all that home.
for your sake, because you missed out, and for anyone who's playing at home, I'm just going to really rapidly fire off the truth by consensus questions, and you can think about each one for 1 second and 1 second only, and tell us what you go with. So, Nicolas Cage, we've done. Spoilers, okay after a certain time or never okay?
Okay, after a certain time.
All right, Firefly Season 2 or Half-Life 3, what would you prefer?
Firefly Season 2.
Cool. John Rambo, John McClane, or John Wick?
John Wick.
Okay, Fast Zombies or Slow Zombies?
Slow Zombies.
Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, or Soul Calibur?
Mortal Kombat.
Pineapple on pizza, yuck or yum?
Yum. But everyone will say yuck.
What's worse, nuts and gum or OJ and toothpaste?
OJ and toothpaste.
All right, dubs or subs?
Subs.
1, 2, 3, go on 3, or 1, 2, 3, and then go?
1, 2, 3, then go.
Interesting. All right, so you actually got most of the ones in line with
most
what
of
the
them
public
right.
said. Yeah.
You got the John one wrong. It was John McClane, not John Wick.
Yeah.
That's because John McClane's a classic, but John Wick is a badass.
Yeah, and
give it,
that's why I think why everyone went John. I think everyone went John McClane for that exact reason. That's why we
In
went
5
John
years,
McClane.
John Wick will be a classic.
Given the average age of the people in the room, I think that's where they fell on that. Yeah.
Also, who chose Fast Zombies? Maniacs. No one wants
You know,
Fast
Zombies
Zombies.
basically just
No
go,
one.
yep, we're done here, we're dead.
I don't think
Worst.
anyone did.
Out. Also, it was Street Fighter and not Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, there was a bunch of holdouts in the room that actually tried to do the whole Bard thing and chose Tekken instead.
Tekken.
Didn't quite catch on,
It did
though.
not work. No. It did not work. Soul Blade on that list. My goodness. But it was fun. It was good. So we'll
was
do again next
amazing.
year. I can't foresee a future in which that will not happen. It's very well supported. It's got a great backing. We'll be there, and even if it's not the Wednesday before PAX, come and we'll do like a mini quiz. I don't know.
Also, shout out to the guy who did the stop motion Play-Doh dinosaur. So we
Oh,
had
shit,
to
yeah.
craft
Amazing.
dinosaurs for a table competition out of Play-Doh. So here we are making our stupid, frozen in time dinosaurs. He actually did a stop motion across their table and uploaded it, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
I mean, when they
So
put it
much
up, I was
effort.
like, yeah, that guy wins. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
100%.
tight.
It wasn't a
That
question.
table did so well. That table won
They
a lot
did.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did
deserved.
good. So yeah, really, really good quiz night. It's the Wednesday before PAX, almost every year. Keep an eye out, CPT charity, and yeah, good job, good job.
And thanks, Ewan
other
and
than that-
Owen.
Yeah, thanks, Ewan and Owen. Delightful as always. Thank you to our 3 extra members, which were Ben and Tara from the States, and then also Rowan. So those guys were awesome, became fast friends very quickly and hung out with us, and it was great. It was only sort of 5 minutes before we were walking into the venue, and I was like, I don't really know what anybody looks like. So we did a good job finding each other.
That wasn't super tough.
in
They were awesome. They were all awesome.
I was just going to yell out, "Hi, I'm Imogen," to like the whole bar and see what happened, but it worked out just fine. But then we went just on to main PAX, which I am just dubbing PAX 2017 PUBG Edition. Because, oh my god, I have seen enough of that game. I get it. It's a great game. Everybody loves the game. It's great. But if every single screen in PAX could stop playing PUBG at once, that would be great.
I walked past the
We're a
Twitch
lot of
streaming
boots.
area so many times over that weekend, and I swear like 90% of the streamers using those booths were playing PUBG. It was just like, get some fucking variety, people. God damn
I mean,
it.
it pays the bills, man. It pays the bills.
Yeah.
I know it
does.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what people want to see, and that's fine. And you know, we're not a fan of saying your fun is wrong, and I don't think it's wrong. It was just overwhelming amount of PUBG was happening, and then of course all of the PUBG cosplays, which is just people dressing up in stuff from an army surplus store.
I actually didn't see too many of them. I was looking at it. I didn't see too many. So maybe...
That's
Well, they're all in
subtle.
disguise. They're in their ghillie
that's
suits.
stealth,
Yeah,
mate.
Yeah, you don't see the people who kill you in PUBG either.
true.
Oh, freaking preach to that.
I mean, neither do I. It's not like I have any torch to hold in this race. But yeah, it's safe to say that PUBG is a big game this year, guys. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. But we did see a bunch of other stuff at PAX. And I think tonight what we're going to do is we sort of segmented. So we've saved some stuff for next week. So there's some gold sparklies for next week. And these are our gold sparklies for this week.
Sparkles.
Because if we tried to do it all in this episode, it would be 3 hours long. And by the end of it, you'd be like, shut the fuck up about PAX. And I swore. My bad. Good thing we're not playing Sparkle Kitty. More on that next week. So we'll start with the PAX Rising games because that's where the volume of games are. And I have to talk about Paperbark. I have to take a moment to talk about the beauty and greatness that is Paperbark. And I talked a little bit about this when we were saying we're looking forward to PAX. It's, I believe, an iOS game about a wombat in Mount Pilot, Victoria, who's just trying to live life in the bush. And he's discovering things, or it's discovering things along the way. It's not a gendered wombat. It does not have a name. We spoke to the art team and they told me that it's not gendered and they just don't want to give it a name. It'll be whatever people want to call it. But they've started calling it Wombi. So there you go.
Bombi the Wombat.
So Wombi the Wombat, and from the moment my finger touched the touch screen, I fell in love with this game. The way that it elaborates the sort of journey, and I'm going to coin a phrase that somebody used that now I can't get out of my head. The way that it uses negative space to still tell a story is
like
very, very well done. So you sort of start mostly white, and then as you move through, it's sort of little splodges of watercolor start illuminating the area around you as you walk around.
It's kind of like
When
a
you
reverse
encounter-
fog of war sort of situation is what it reminded me of.
Yeah, yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's attributed to like Beatrix Potter. So if you had Beatrix Potter as a kid, a lot of her drawings were just sort of the character and then a little bit of the thing around them, and then your brain starts to fill in the rest of that, and that's that use of negative space. That's where that sort of term comes from. It's by Paper House in Melbourne. It's for release early 2018, and it was loved by as many people that walked past it. It's because it's a very different art style. It's all watercolor. It also allows you to explore, and then you see and you learn about more of the flora and fauna around you. So learn about the birds that you encounter and those types of things, as well as the fact that there was a moment where he rolled over in like flowers or something and then did a little sneeze. And I don't know what it is about when animals do that, but that's it. I'm done. I'm in love. I'm all about this. And I missed this one moment that Ollie's like, oh my gosh, Imogen the dragonfly. And I apparently just missed it where it landed on his nose and he went all cross-eyed. And then he got a little heart and he fell in love with the dragonfly. It's very cute. The great thing about Paperbark is that it has this element to it that's like Never Alone, which is that it starts talking about the area and talking about the nature involved in it, and actually teaches you about the Australian bush, for lack of a better description, which is that element we loved about Never Alone, and telling you a story about an area or a people's.
Yeah.
So Paperbark, 2 thumbs up from Mimo, solid indictment, did buy the art, will buy the game. It was great, and I had an awesome time speaking
really
to
disappointed if this game does not
Nina,
come with a photo mode.
Paper House.
I think it has to have that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
yeah.
adorable and so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I may have bought all the art. All of
Yeah.
it.
Well done. Well,
It's so
I've,
good
I've-
looking.
I've got it here. I'm going to make a sort of compilation piece of some of the artworks from Paperbark and sort of send it to them. They were very excited. Great team, just a really great team. And also, you will see a video interview with Paperbark and Luke on the website at some point soon.
Yep. Terry
Yay.
Burdak was the name of the guy that we spoke to. So, yeah.
He was great.
Mm-hmm.
He was very excited and very happy to be showing the game, I believe.
Another beautiful cultural type of game that I saw. It was in the indie showcase section down at the other end. One of the winners this year was a game called Projection by Shadowplay Studios. It
looks so
is
cool.
stunning. It's a 2D platformer, but the art style is shadow puppetry. And it actually uses light manipulation. I was astounded when I saw someone playing it through. I didn't get a chance to get hands on it myself because the booth was so popular. The game, you're able to manipulate the light source in the level. And as you do, the shadows shift. And you can actually use those shadows as platform. It's so genius.
Yeah, that mechanic is
adorable.
awesome.
Yeah, and it's adorable because it's got this layered silhouette look. And the little creatures, even the creatures you're not controlling, they have the little shadow puppet stick attached to them and they shift like they're being controlled, shadow puppetry style. It's so beautiful. And then the style of the cutouts that are used, we were trying to figure out. Ollie was saying that it sort of reminded him of the tribal art that we saw in Never Alone in the way that it was styled. And when we spoke to them, we discovered that the story of this game is actually based on tales from different cultures. There's stuff from Indonesia, China, Turkey, Greece, and England, which is amazing.
So cool.
And I didn't even get a chance to experience the depth of the storytelling in it, but watching other people play it, I saw a mum sitting in a chair with like a little toddler in a harness on her front who was shoving her head in her face, trying to get her attention. And she's just trying to keep this baby happy so that she can keep experiencing her playthrough because she was absolutely spellbound by it. It's so lovely.
Yeah.
Oh. Did any of you get to play it?
I didn't get to
The
Unfortunately,
lines
did
were always
not.
so big.
No, that speaks in its favor, I guess.
I will 100% pick it up when it releases, though, because
Me
like,
too.
the impression I got, it reminded me a lot of the Playdead games, like Limbo and Inside, like with the black and whitish kind of art style. I mean, it wasn't black and white; it had very strong color palette.
Sepia tone.
But it was a silhouette. Yeah,
Exactly.
Just beautiful, and the flourishes in the artwork. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's Shadowplay Studios are based in Sydney. So it's so cool seeing all of these amazing Sydney ideas with these influences internationally. And they're hoping to get it out this year, apparently. So I'm 100% keeping my eye out for this one. It's absolutely stunning, and I highly recommend everyone look it up.
The fun fact I have for this game, because I had a chat to one of the guys at the booth, apparently he did all the code for the light manipulation for the platforms in a day.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So it was done at like a game jam. And yeah, so he did all the coding and stuff in a day for the light source and the platform manipulation. And then the rest of the time has just been like art assets and smoothing it and actually polishing it up. Which is
That's
insane.
incredible.
Absolutely insane.
Some talented folk in that PAX Rising area, I tell you.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Speaking of talented folk, we have... This was a bit like ridiculous when we found out the bit of background for the developers for this one. So we also played a game called Paperville Panic by Ultimus Studio, which turns out not only is their first PAX, it was their first game, they only got together in March.
Yep.
This year.
That's phenomenal.
And then presented a VR game demo at PAX, which is ridiculous.
I had no words when they said that. That was just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was nuts.
7
So-
months to get something like that on the ground, get the logistics locked down, and to be the game that it is brilliant. And also they have a target to come out this year, to release this year, so...
Which is even crazier.
Jam, did you note down the ladies' names that we spoke to at this booth?
Meredith?
We spoke to Meredith.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, they were some of the most excitable people in that entire PAX Rising section.
They're so
I
lovely.
loved their vibe. Yeah. Yeah.
Because their game was so fun and they were so excited to showcase it to everyone.
Yeah, they were
didn't
the
get a
very
chance to
first
play
thing
it,
we did
though.
on Saturday. Oh, you didn't? Oh no!
No,
no,
Good
you
news,
missed
Jam.
out.
Good news for you,
Mima,
Jam.
you played it.
I did.
Yeah?
Good news for you, Jam, and for everybody that's listening. We'll tell you more about it, but the demo is available now through Steam for free.
Yay!
So if you do want to play it, look up Paperville Panic and you will find it, and it is great. So, Ollie,
Well, we
do you want
should
to tell
tell
us
them
what the
about
game
it.
is about?
Yeah.
All right, let's actually talk about the game. So the game itself is paper themed. So the world is made of craft supplies and paper bag people. And so naturally, you're the only firefighter in a world made of paper. Because what can
What
go
could
wrong in a
possibly
world
go
made
wrong?
of paper? Yeah, exactly. So you're given an axe and a water pistol, and you have to fight fires and solve little problems related to fires, and then verse a fire boss at the end of the demo and stuff. And it was just really fun. A little bit. And the humor, I felt, was on point. It had a nice taste of, like, slightly grim and just like, oh, that's a bit unfortunate, to just actually just genuinely just laugh out loud funny. I really liked it. The art style reminded me of Dumb Ways to Die mixed with Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And then, like, a bit more polygony because it's, like, paper-based. And, it was just so good. I really liked it. It's my style. It's my jam.
Yeah, it was hilarious. The voiceover stuff that's sort of in the background is
Aussie.
very humorous, very Australian, and really on point for the type of game that it is. I did pull off somebody's head when I was trying to save them, so that was a bit
Not the
disturbing.
only one. Don't worry.
Yeah, and there are elements. Just don't axe the children. Just don't do it. Just be gentle when you get to the part with the children. It's clever. I found it easier to use, and I don't know. I was thinking about this. Like, I don't know if this is a credit to the game or it's just that now I'm getting more used to using VR technology. But I found like teleporting and holding things, and I didn't get quite as wrapped up as I have in some other games. I have a feeling it's because I'm just getting more used to the technology, and that idea that I don't walk around. I use like teleport around the place and those types of things. But it was really good, and I wear glasses, and I could use it just fine. So,
what VR platform were they
Vive.
playing?
It was the Vive.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
The Vive. Yeah.
Yeah. So, really good to use. And now I have a VR capable machine, and so now I'm starting to think about, do I get PSVR and that be my only VR, or do I invest in a Vive, or wait for the new Vive inevitably to come out next year? So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But Paperville, oh my gosh. That was so good. And we were so
good.
pumped.
Yeah.
It was the first thing we did on Saturday. And the whole team was just like, yeah. And then they were laughing with us. And the strangest thing about testing out VR is that you're in this space and you've got like earphones on and you don't really know where you are. And I was so worried I was going to punch somebody in the face. And all I could hear was all you chuckleheads laughing at me when I did like various things. I was like, when I pulled off the head, I was like, I help you. And I just pulled the head off and I just hear this laugh. And I'm like, oh no.
I was watching you, but I obviously was not watching you closely enough because I didn't actually see you do that. So, yeah.
Oh no! And I didn't know what to do with the head.
The artwork on the booth was extraordinary. I was enthralled because, they've taken these like classic literature covers and redone them in the papercraft style of the game, very sort of Swedish simplistic style with paper puns and that sort of stuff in it.
It was
just
so good.
so cool.
As soon as we saw the back of that
every
booth,
little bit.
Yeah, the back of that booth was quality. And that's where we did our video interview from, so you'll see some of those puns that Jam mentioned on
Just
that.
amazing.
I missed all the puns. I must have not been paying attention because that's exactly the
Were
sort
you
of
not
thing
paying attention at all? Like, Jam and I looked at the puns and went, this is the booth for us, and then that's why we walked up to it.
I was oscillating between watching two people play the game, like you and there was another guy in there at the same time. So, yeah, I had looked at the booth because I was so captivated by the stuff on screen. I thought it looked rad. It looked so good. Yeah.
Well, isn't that
it's
great?
rad. That's a great name for it. It was rad. It was just a rad game.
Absolutely.
If you were in the 90s.
I did chat to the ladies, though, and sort of as we were wrapping up there and moving on into the rest of the Rising section, I asked them if there was any other games that they particularly had their eye on that they liked the look of besides their own. And Meredith, I think it was, actually did point out one game which we sort of got around to about an hour later, which was a game by the name of Dead Static Drive. Now, the game name sounded really cool, so as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, awesome, I have to check this out. And we eventually found it. It was sort of nestled roughly in the middle of the section. Dead Static Drive, it was kind of like a 3D sort of third-person adventure game with a very minimalistic kind of art style that reminded me a lot of Hotline Miami. And it was set like in an American sort of... I guess a remote town of some sort, and you sort of walking through like a restaurant or a cafe and like a general store sort of set up, and there's cars parked outside, and I think there's a bit of driving in the game to get up to that point as well.
There's a lot. It's a road trip game.
I think
that's the impression you saw was the out of the cars mostly.
Definitely, yeah. And there's a whole bunch more than what I saw in terms of the enemies as well, because we sort of heard a bit more about some of the other stuff that we didn't actually get during our demo. But the bit that we saw, it looked a bit like the Tremors movies, where you actually venture outside of the building, and then all of a sudden there's these giant sort of sandworm type creatures that start popping up and trying to kill you.
Very horror.
Yeah, very horror. Like they were not just sort of popping up under you and trying to attack you. They were actually all flipping, cars, that you were running away from, and bins.
That
and
was
stuff.
the best bit.
It was cool.
Luke
yeah,
got squished.
I actually got squished because I ran away from the thing, and I sort of I thought I was far enough away, and then all of a sudden a car just comes flying at me. I'm just like, whoop, okay. No way to avoid that. I saw some other people playing it as well, and they were picking up a whole bunch of firearms that were on the ground and actually trying to attack these things, but they look really tough. So I'm not quite sure what the aim is there, but I liked it. Like, there was a bunch of different objectives that were popping up on screen that was sort of survival based. So you had to eat food to sort of stay together, and have coffee to stay awake. And if you eat and drink too much, it actually forces you to go to the toilet, and this, that, and the other. So yeah, it looked cool. I will definitely give that one a go when it actually hits release, because I think it had a lot of promise. So. And there was, quite a few people that were mentioning it throughout the weekend that probably had a bit more hands-on time than I did. So it was cool. That was Dead Static Drive. So I wanted to look out for, by Kurt Russell Fan Club, Melbourne-based developers.
Love it.
Yeah, cool name. Yeah.
Yeah, they describe it as cosmic horror road trip game.
Yeah.
Official description from them.
Sounds about right. Who's got something else they want to chuck on the pile?
Oh gosh, so many. Well, I will mention another one of the showcase winners, along with Projection, was the Gardens Between by the Voxel Agents, and I got to play this on the last day, so I was pretty done with games by this stage, but I knew I had to catch some of the showcase. This game was described to us as a game where you don't control the characters, you control time. It's a puzzle platform base. Where you use time to manipulate the characters. So as you move time forward, they walk past certain objects, and after they walk past something in the future, maybe if you rewind, there'll be a different reaction to that now. And it was really, I thought it was quite simple. I didn't know if I just got it or it seemed very simple, but Jam, you watched me play it.
No, picked it up straight away.
Yeah, so it was one of those weird moments, because I'm not really a puzzle game person, but this made sense to me somehow. So I really enjoyed it, and I felt kind of like, okay, now I'm figuring this out. And there was some levels later on in the demo that were very clever. Like the rewinding on a videotape. So you rewind the videotape, and I don't know if you crazy kids, Luke, you're old enough, and Jamie potentially, to remember, a VCR, if you rewind it all the way to the beginning again, it would eject.
Yep. This is factually accurate.
That's part of the puzzle. Was that you have to rewind it, and then this thing comes out and it creates a bridge. And that was super clever. And it took me a couple of goes, like pressing it, and I was thinking it was a time thing. I thought it was much more complicated than it was, but really good and very pretty. And it was just actually part of the Sony presentations at Paris Games Week as well. So these guys were at Seattle PAX, and they were talking about how coming to Melbourne had been fairly easy for them, because they'd had the booth sort of set up and the demo kind of ready to go. So there was some tweaks they made between Oz and Seattle PAX, but which is PAX West. But yeah, it was really, really good. So that's coming out towards the end of next year. So I believe that's probably going to be a bit of a larger game, but it sounds like it's going to be coming out on PC and PS4 Actually, I played it on a PlayStation controller, so there is every chance it's just a PS4 game. I did not check that out.
It says in the PAX guide, it says Windows and Mac. So
Oh, there you go. And so maybe yes. So now Paris Games Week, they just announced it'll be coming on PS4, which I think is a great place for it. I think games like this are very quickly becoming something that is in demand. Like people are looking for timeout games on their consoles a lot more. I think it opens it up to a different audience of gamers. So I think The Gardens Between will be one that you will want to watch out for. I'll certainly be picking it up, which is a big deal if you ever listen to our show, because I hate puzzle games. So I really enjoyed this one.
I don't think you truly do. I think you just have particular flavors of puzzle games you avoid. But there's a few that'll work their way in through your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Sounds like one of them.
I mean, this one was definitely... The art style is very pretty. One of the characters, my one comment is like the female character, so it's a brother and sister pair. She's just got this weird hunch and she just looks fed up all the time, and I don't know if that's part of the story, because you're not getting a lot of the story behind it. You're sort of only getting a flavor for the levels. But there's kind of this attitude that she's got, and her brother seems a bit more sprightly and a bit more interactive. But yeah, the art style is very pretty, very similar, a bit more of a realistic Monument Valley feel to the themes and the way and the transitions between the different levels.
Yeah.
Do you like the sound of that?
Yeah.
All right.
It's
time for Jam to brag. Jam brag time.
Yep.
No.
Humble brag.
No. Shut up. There was one game that I could not get out of my head for pretty much, since I played it.
You are not the only one, my friend.
Oh, how good is it? I know Luke spoke about it already
I fucking love
in
this
another
game.
venue. Yeah. But there was a game. There was a game in the indie showcase, not indie showcase, in the PAX Rising section. A little indie game called Spin Rhythm. And it's freaking cool. If you like Guitar Hero, if you like rhythm games and funky music, you need to check this out. Trouble is, that's difficult to do at the moment because PAX Oz was their debut. It was their announcement. It was the beginning of all of their things. And I have not found a website for them yet.
No, it doesn't exist.
It looks like it's produced by Super Entertainment.
Give me one second. I've got the photo with the Twitter handle. Keep talking.
Okay. It is a iOS, possibly more, but it's a touchscreen style game. It looks like it's ideal venue. You basically have a scrolling bar similar to Guitar Hero with colours on it denoting the notes of the song that's playing in the background. And there's a little turnstile at the bottom, a DJ one, that you have to rotate so that the colours line up with the notes. If you get a solid green line, you have to tap it for a bass beat. And then when it gets to a funky bit of the song, you'll get some arrows coming across the bar that you have to spin the wheel in the correct direction and then quickly get it to line up with the next series of notes. For the simple sections, you'll only have one colour that you have to match up. But then when it gets more complex, you have to match two, which means you're sort of balancing this little wheel of colours very carefully so that it's turning in time as the note colours shift back and forth across the bar. I don't know if I even explained that very well. Regardless.
It's a bit hard to describe. You can find them on Twitter at Spin Rhythm Game, so SPIN Rhythm Game, all one word. I chatted to one of the developers whilst Jam was playing. And he said that, they really early on in the cycle and that they don't even have a webpage yet and they're working on that, but they do have the Twitter. That's the place to find them at the moment. The one thing that they've got is they're working off royalty-free music.
Yes.
And what they're hoping to get is more buy-in from local publishers and those types of things to try and get more music on it, because it is like Guitar Hero and everything else. It kind of rests on getting more music involved. So
exactly. So they've got it functionally made, but they've only got 2 songs licensed so far. So they're hoping to have it out mid next year. If all goes well, they just need to source that music. The mechanics of the game
solid
are already solid and so much fun.
Nailed
and the two songs that they were demoing with were so much fun to listen to.
I want to know what they are, and I don't know the name of them.
The
and it's super
wonderful
annoying.
thing was that they had an example set up on an iPad and an iPhone with headsets for people to play on to give you an idea, and you could run through a demo. Then on the big screen and over the speakers at their booth, they had a slightly different setup. They got a turntable and hooked it up to the game so that you could actually use it to control the game, and it was just phenomenal. I didn't manage to get a go on that until I think the Sunday.
Yeah.
Imogen? Yeah, because
I don't know,
it was
I'm checking
quite
the photo.
popular.
Yeah, it was Sunday.
But it's awesome. It was so much fun, and my sister and I are so mad keen on this game that now we're like, should we?
I mean,
toss
are you
them and
not going
see?
to mention that you tried this for the very first time on a DJ wheel and 100%ed the game?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to because I was
tactically waiting for Imogen to
hoping
bring it up.
that you would.
You fell right into it, Nemo.
I mean, with the hours I've put into Guitar Hero,
Hook,
I
line,
love these
and
kinds
sinker.
of games.
That spin deck was a
yeah.
great controller, though. That was a lot of fun to use. I
Oh,
loved it.
fantastic.
Oh, so good. So
Yeah.
clever.
PAX
I was
2017,
impressed that
new
you could-
theme, weirdthingsascontrollers.com. There we go. More on that next week.
Yes, 100% more on that. Yeah, it was fantastic. And for the week since, I can't get those songs out of my head. Mm-hmm. They're just, I love that game, and I wish I could find out more information about it. So keep your eye out for Spin Rhythm
At
if
Spin Rhythm Game on Twitter.
you're remotely interested.
Yeah. I have a good photo of Jam playing the game, which has the Twitter handle in it. So when we release this episode, I might try to pop that up on the social so people can see it as well.
Good idea.
It looks really cool. It's really difficult to describe, but I had to go on the phone. It's deceptively difficult as well, depending on the song and what you're trying to do. I think it on the phone. I don't know. Play more on the phone, but I think on that the big deck, that's a great idea. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I had a little
They
go
can
on the
get that
phone.
working.
I was worried that it wouldn't be
Yeah.
quite a big enough screen to sort of get the hang around the wheel control, but I thought it worked fine. It was
Yeah, it's
pretty
good.
decent.
Yeah, and there's a penalty if you miss a note or don't line it up properly.
Yeah, it mutes the song.
Yeah, the notes just disappear for a short space and the song mutes. So when you're playing it on the turnstile, you can just tell when someone's goofed. But it was, every time I walked past, I was just like bopping my head to the music. Didn't matter how far away I was, if I could hear it, I was trying to like gravitate back towards it. It was so much fun.
I did ask the dev. I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sick are you of this song? And he's like, well, I've listened to it for about a year now, so I was going to be sick of it.
jeez.
It's like it's the difference between it was a song that I enjoy listening to, and now I just don't play it. Now I just hear it when I'm like demoing the game. So
Yeah, just pay
he
attention
still
to
loves
the
it,
lines. Yeah.
exactly right. So it was great. It's really good. Highly recommend as well. I mean, I highly recommend all these games. How could we not? We spent so much time playing them.
Yeah, there was nothing that
Alright.
we really
Good
played that I
games.
didn't enjoy, I will say. I think everything was pretty damn good in its own way, so...
Yeah. I mean, now
Alright.
we best move on to the bigger guns.
All right, so we're moving out of the PAX Rising section.
Yeah, we'll come back to PAX
Yeah.
Rising next week. We've got more to cover, so...
So let's head to the main floor and hit up a doozy of a racing game. The new Forza
Oh
was
my gosh.
out and about. So did we all get a chance to play it, or was it just Imogen and I that had a go at it?
I did not
I
play,
had
but
a
I
go.
watched.
Oh, and Jam as well? Sweet.
Jam smashed it.
Oh,
Jam
no,
smashed it?
I was, I accidentally had some kind of drive assist thing on. Brake assist.
Did you have racing lines and stuff on as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought I'd selected the same settings, but there were so many settings, and somehow when I selected medium difficulty, I ended up with brake assist because I wanted to do a cool spin out on the grass, and it didn't happen.
Oh, actually, before we talk any further, did you ladies play it on the sit down and like steering wheel setup?
No.
Or the simulator setup, or with controller?
Xbox
controller.
Xbox booth.
Okay. Ditto. Okay, so none of us got to play it on the super cool setup.
No.
It was so absurd. And in speaking to people after the fact, everyone's telling me that I should have played it with a steering wheel, that Forza is one of those games that is just exponentially better with the actual steering wheel and the whole setup.
Unfortunately, the queue is also exponentially larger, so...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was
That.
ridiculous. And to be fair, like, that's great, but I'd rather try the game on a controller because I'm not going to buy a full driving setup for my
Why
apartment.
not, Mimo?
True.
Why not?
Maybe this is the secret to finishing Ori. You just need the driving setup with the wheel.
Can you imagine playing Ori in the Blind Forest
Oh
with a
my
driving wheel
gosh.
setup? That would be hilarious.
Just can't stop bringing it up and rubbing my face in it.
Go on.
Anyway, back to Forza. So, can we all agree that this game is drop dead gorgeous?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's very
is-
pretty.
Stupid how good it looks. Like, it is just dumb the amount of detail they put into this game. Like, holy shit.
On the new One X, it's going to be... Sorry, One X is going to be spectacular.
Yeah.
It's
4K
it's the-
TV and that. Oh.
Yeah. That was the main driver for me wanting to play it.
Driver. I love it. Good
yeah.
work.
Why can't I just have puns of my own, Luke? Why do
You
you have
can.
to claim
I appreciate them. That's all I'm saying.
was the beauty of the game. Traditionally, this is a game that will kick your butt if you do not play driving games for the realism. Forza is not for you, and Forza 7 really isn't for you.
That being said, even though it is a bit more simmy, it does scale the simulation. You can tweak it back down to not GTA levels of racing, but you can definitely have a less hardcore driving simulation experience, as Jam and I probably both found out when we had some brake assist and nice little racing lines for us.
I got two questions
there
for
was
you guys on this, but go ahead, Mimo. I'll come back to it.
So there was two sort of main areas of customization, which was customization on your directions on the track and things like weather and how much that impacted. And then there was customizations on the driver. So there was an overall customization of the driver's experience. So you can say the driver was average, the driver was experienced, etc. And that did things like the brake assist and probably the propensity for the car to flip, spin, and burn in a heartbeat. As well as probably giving the AI giving you a bit of a break on the track, whereas the environmental stuff. So I like that you could separate the two, but I could feel how like a combination of both starts to become a bit like Rain Man, like trying to figure something out on the blackboard. Like it became a little bit Beautiful Minds at one page, and it just got to the point where I'm like, okay, let's just play the game. Like, it became a bit much.
That's fair. Yeah. No, I was just going to ask. First of all, with the driving lines, did you at any time feel that was kind of a bit cheaty, or do you think it was actually natural to use them?
Nope.
No.
This game kicks your butt.
Yeah, unless you're experienced in that style of game, like for a demo, like I think the most racing games we as a group play is like GTA racing, and Mario Kart, not known for their precision needed gaming and simulated racing experience. So having those there, entirely necessary. Entirely necessary. I would have been proper fucked without them, put it that way.
Yeah, and it doesn't help you any more than, say, like in a rally game, they would have your co-pilot saying, like, the next turn is this, the next turn is that.
Yeah.
It's only really giving you an indication, and the best thing that it does is in the real time, like, it would be blue if you're going the right speed for it, and then it will show you when you need to brake, and then therefore when you're going the right speed and those types of things. So you still have to do all the stuff. Like, it's not helping you do any of the things. It's just giving you a better line. And to be fair, it's a heads up, and it's not always the right answer either. Because there's still AI, there's still other people on the track to deal with as well. So that was fun. That was my instant when, oh wait, it's not Mario Kart. Can't butts puffy.
No blue shells. No blue shells.
No blue shells.
So in terms of the graphics and stuff, like you said, it was pretty, about as top notch as you could possibly imagine on that platform.
Gorgeous.
What more do you think they could do? Like, do you think that there's actually any room to move in terms of the graphics and realism getting even more so, or do you think they've peaked in that respect?
Photorealism. That is the next step.
VR.
So they're not quite there yet?
Yeah, it's that tiny bit just below that, like, perfect. Like, you could probably take some screenshots of this game and be like, is that a photo? Can't quite tell. Oh, no, that's a game. Okay, cool.
It's not quite right. And the first person mode
far off.
is not quite there either. It still feels a little bit HUD, like heads-up display kind of dealio. But yeah, I think VR full racing setup is where this end of the driving spectrum
immensely,
goes.
yes.
That does sound cool.
This is what people want. They want simulated. They want to drive an F1 car. They want to do, the different races around the world. They want that realism. And tell you what, weather is real.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So the race that I did was in driving rain and like wind and everything else, and I don't think I spent a lot of time on the track. It does have a very interesting rewind mechanic where you can sort of go, let's try that again, and like rewind a section and take that corner again.
I am curious, what do you two think of that feature? I'm actually very curious on your thoughts on that.
Jamie?
I did not have to use the rewind feature because I had the stupid brake assist. I don't think I used it.
Okay, so
That's
Jam's
right.
too good and cheated too much to need it. Mimo,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts?
My thoughts is it's fine. I think this type of game, the opportunity to do something again, like I don't think that feature would be in a versus game, so I don't see it being a problem. I think if I'm learning to play a game and a simulated game at that, then I'll go, okay, let me try that again and see if that's different this way. And it rewinds all of the AI too, so it's not giving you any advantage. You're just redoing that very same section.
It seems like a game versus driving sim conundrum, very much. So if you want to play something
and
that...
Forza's had that battle since what's the Forza Horizon, the last sort of iteration set in Australia, was the sort of, okay, this is for the Forza fans who want the fun, blah, blah, blah. Forza 7 is back to a sim. This is swing the pendulum back to the people who want a true driving sim. And I tell you what, did they get it? Yeah. I think I'll probably pick this up, weirdly. I've got
really?
this weird... I wanted to pick up the previous Forza, so I don't know, maybe I'll pick up the previous one rather than this one, but I've got this need for... I don't want to say speed. I know. I have this need to jump back into driving games. Yeah. We've been talking about it so much, about how you guys don't like/play them.
I
really want to
like
get back
them.
into
I just
it.
haven't played them for a long time. So, yeah.
More that. I don't like the super simmy ones.
I think the issue for me is that I really enjoy driving games as like a local sort of play kind of setup where we're all clustered around the same machine taking turns or playing together at the same time rather than remotely. But we just don't have the opportunity to do that as much as we'd like. So, yeah, maybe
I
we'll
like
find.
fast cars, so I like playing
who
these
doesn't?
games. Yeah, I really enjoyed. I spent a ridiculous amount of time playing Colin McRae Rally on the PlayStation 2. So,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
That's fair enough.
them sweet,
I enjoyed
sweet
those games.
WRC. Yeah, yeah. Well, the next one, very different to Forza 7.
Super different.
Super different. Could not be more different. In fact, might be the very opposite end of the scale to Forza 7. And it is Florence by Mountains. It was in the Annapurna booth, which is their publisher. Same publisher as What Remains of Edith Finch, and quickly becoming one of my favourite publisher of games, other than Blizzard, of course. I'm sorry, Blizzard. I'll take that back. They're probably listening. Oh my gosh. So Florence by Mountains is a beautiful narrative game. And when I say game, it's more like an interactive story. It does have some small game elements in it. And it was demoed on the floor. I think it was coming out 2018, but I didn't catch when that was sort of coming out. But it is a story of two people who fall in love, and the most accurate way I can describe this is that it's on iPad, so it's an iOS game, and there is a conversation that starts between two people who've met each other for the first time, and in order to participate in that conversation, you have to complete a puzzle of a speech bubble, which has lots of different pieces, and it's very hard to put together. And eventually you get the speech bubble out, and she gets to say her little speech bubble piece, and then he replies, and then, it gets easier, and then there's less pieces, and then it's very simple for you to put together, and you slowly start getting the point that as they're getting to know each other, it's a lot easier for them to talk to each other, and they just click. And that's only one of the small sort of, let's say, mini games that are in this narrative game that take you through the first initial stages of their love and their relationship. And I imagine that the game going forward is going to be more about, the challenges that are faced in relationships and different circumstances and those types of things. And so it's a really great opportunity to sit back and just enjoy and take part in a story. So I really loved it, and for me, it was one of my favorite games of PAX. The art style is very cute. It's very graphic novel. And, they had it sort of set up where you sort of sat down and you're on little bean bags. And I think being able to demonstrate a game that's a narrative is quite difficult because, of course, you're telling part of the story to your audience who are going to play it again. So it'll be an excellent game for people who are looking to experience a story, which is very quickly why Annapurna is becoming my favorite publisher, because they keep giving me games that are telling me stories that I love, like What Remains of Edith Finch. So Florence, highly recommend. Now, Jam, you tried out Florence?
Yes.
Yes. What did you think?
It's delightful. I loved it.
It's delightful.
I loved that each chapter was sort of a different minigame set.
Yeah.
But it was one whole story. So clever. So clever. And I'm gonna play it. I'm definitely gonna play it. I wanna know what happens to Florence and her boy. It's adorable.
We'll find out. It's just such clever use of art, and anyway, it's
the visual metaphors are on point.
It was amazing, and for a place like PAX where and literally where this booth is, there is Just Dance, just like one 10-meter little jaunt. You've got Just Dance, so you've got like the weird sheep song happening, and I still don't know what that song is. That was super weird all weekend about beep beep, I'm the sheep, whatever that song is.
I think that's actually the name
of it.
Too old
for this shit. And so I put on the little headset and sat in my little beanbag in the middle of PAX, and I've got Mario Odyssey's happening on one side and people screaming over here, and I was just 100% in that game and in that story. So great job. Double thumbs up, Mountains. Do love.
Speaking of a certain Mario, I would like to talk about that for a minute because that was actually on display on the show floor, and Memo and I got to sneak in and play a little bit of that as it was sort of actually releasing to the general public over the weekend. So,
so good.
So I would also mention at this point that Mario Odyssey has officially been out for 4 days now in Australia, and globally it has already sold 2 million copies in 4 days. What
and it has
the
some
shit?
Ridiculous Metacritic score.
I haven't seen
currently.
it below like a 9.5 anywhere. It's been like one of the highest rated games I've seen this year. In this year, we know what 2017's been like.
It's nuts. And to say that I went into this, like we lined up and we knew that we had to play it. Also, I'm going to mention one of my moments of PAX before we get into the Mario game, because this is just, we'll take it back to, let's bring everybody back to what PAX is. It's a big gaming convention, and this year I saw more kids than ever at PAX because especially games like Odyssey were on display, and we were standing in line, and I mean, we were tired and whatever as well, and we were standing waiting in line to have a go. Luke and I and our friend Erin, and I saw a little boy walk out who would have been about 9 to 10 years old with his dad, and he looked sullen, like, stamp feet, kind of whatever else. And he's like, look, buddy, everybody has to have a go. Like, we'll go play something else. Like, he's like, but I want to play Mario. Like, why can't we keep playing? He's like, look, everyone's got to have a go. Everyone really wants to play it. Look, there's this queue of people here and everything else. And he just like pouting and had his arms crossed and, I don't know, ready for war. I don't know. I don't have kids. But it looked like he was about to kick off. Like, if it was a dog, like the ears were back and
the hackles were up.
The hackles were up, the full lot. And I was like, wow, how's this going to happen? And then I had one of my favorite moments of PAX of all time. And his dad just turned to him and said, look, if you really want to, I will happily line up with you again and we can play it again. And the smile on this kid's face was just 400% made my day. And because all this kid wanted to do, he didn't mind waiting. He was happy to give other people a turn. He just wanted to have another go, and they lined back up, and I think I saw him smile like all the way up the queue, and I think he was probably still smiling when we left the booth. That line was moving pretty quickly. So
I kind of wish you had pointed it out to me at the time, because I would have happily let that dude have my spot.
I was too busy trying to quiet my fucking ovaries, man. It was too much. I was so emotional all weekend. It was all I could do to hold my shit together. When that happened, I was just, that like anime moment where they smile and there's like the little drops of tears like on their eyes and they're just like glistening eyes. That's exactly what was happening, and I just couldn't. There was just nothing else that could happen in that moment. And honestly, it was my turn next, and it was all I could do to go like, you could go in front of me, little dude. Like, I'll go to the back of the queue. Oh man, it was good. It was good. Anyway, let's talk about the game. The game was great.
Yeah, the game's fucking awesome. So which area did you play? I jumped into New Dock City. Did you do that, or did you go to the desert?
I was in a desert that was cold.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's called. I think it's later on in the game.
Demoed levels. I don't think they had any of the other levels opened up for the demos.
I didn't see it, no.
Yeah.
It was in the desert, and there was lots of skeleton guys, and it was very cold. There was lots of icicles, which is obviously not the right place for icicles to be. But yeah, it was really good. The gameplay was fun. I liked throwing my little hat. It brought back nightmare memories of playing Mario in 3D for the first time and having to figure out all of those vectors. The hat hit people on the way out and the way back, so that was kind of cool. I could throw the hat out and then sort of strafe around enemies and hit them that way. That was pretty cool.
Did you attempt the move where you can actually throw your hat and then jump onto it and bounce off it?
No.
It's a little tricky, but you can totally do it. You can use it to get like an extra high jump. It's trippy. It's real weird. So, yeah.
I was a Bullet Bill and I became a Goomba. No, I didn't become a Goomba. I became Bullet Bill and I became something else, but I forgot what the other thing is. But one of the first things I did was get myself a very snappy suit and a fedora. I was Business Mario.
Seems like a lot of costumes in this game, actually. Yeah.
In the desert.
The thing that I really loved is, and particularly in New Donk City, and not all levels would necessarily be like this. I've heard that there's quite a bit of inconsistency with the size of the different zones. But New Donk City was fucking massive. Like, seriously, it was like, one of the largest open world levels in an open world game, which is totally unlike what I'd expect from a Mario game. And like the thing that you kind of really want to do is hunt down these moons that you pick up, which are kind of like the big collectibles for the game. And I've heard that there's like upwards of about 800 or so of them in the game, which seems like a lot. It instantly made me think of the Korok seeds from Zelda Breath of the Wild. But I think the difference is that the Korok seeds, which are kind of just out in the world and, they have a very minor benefit in expanding your pack size in that game. In Mario, it seems like all of the moons are actually hidden behind like really cool features of the game that you want to complete rather than that you feel compelled to complete to collect them all. Like, I got one from, there was like a guy who was standing outside like a little go-kart track, and I managed to throw Cappy onto his head and turn into him for a minute, and I took his controls and I drove the go-kart around, and I was actually able to drive the go-kart into this little hidden area where there was a moon, and I got the moon. There was another one that I found in a hidden area from running around the side of a building, and there was like a gantry from a bit of construction that was going on. It was sort of hidden around the corner there. There's various other different puzzles and stuff you do. Some of them are actually just out in the world. You have to sort of explore and find them. Some of them you actually need to solve little sort of challenges to do. It was just a huge variety.
There
it was
is
awesome.
one in the New Donk City, and it's not a spoiler because it's all over the demos, and it was talked about a billion times from E3, is that there is a moon available from just as a guy sitting on the bench who looks a little sad, and if you go up and talk to him and ask how he is, he'll give you a moon.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. There was a really cool part in the level that I did. So all of the other stuff like collecting coins and all that kind of stuff seemed fairly usual. There was sort of an 8-bit pipe that went into a wall. So I went into the pipe, and a painting on the wall was like Mario 2, Super Mario World 2 or something like that. And so I went into the pipe, and then I became 2D Mario in my cool Business Mario suit, and I played like a little level in that, and that's how I got up the wall. That was the puzzle. And it was so well done. It was super great. So that was the moment when I picked up that Switch, and I did play it on the Switch. I didn't play it on the TV with the controller bit. We played it on the actual handheld Switch. That I decided that I need to own a Switch.
Yep.
I said before PAX that I just wanted to try it, and if it was good, then I was in trouble, and then I was going to have to buy the stupid game. And I'm going to have to. I mean, I'm going to wait until Christmas time, till maybe they're on sale, or maybe a little cheaper, or
Yeah, they won't be on sale.
They're not going to be on sale, but maybe I can get a deal.
Yeah.
Maybe I can sell my Xbox One to get the Switch. I have too many platforms. But Mario Odyssey for sure will sell easily this game. There is another game that we saw, which I'll talk about next week, that I was like, why don't I own a Switch already? This was just the show. PAX was just a show off of the Switch.
Yeah, there was a lot of people out and about with the Switches too. Like we saw people lining up in the queue hall with Switches and wandering around in the beanbag handheld lounge. There was quite a few of them. Very, very popular platform at the show, which made me really happy. And like there was... Odyssey was one of the big ones, but there was a lot of reasons at the end of the weekend where I had some serious Switch envy. So I'm right there with you. I want one as soon as humanly possible. Got to get this thing for sure. Don't even need to wait for Metroid Prime 4. There's things I want to play before that. So, yeah. Yeah, Mario is very high on that list for sure. So, Ollie, do we want to talk about the other big one now? Because I'm kind of keen to hear your thoughts on this. Yeah.
So, Luke and I very early on in PAX, I think this was the first thing we tried at PAX actually, was a game called Detroit Beyond Human. So, this game... We've seen some preview videos for, and there's been like a little bit of press for it here and there.
E3 was the big one. A
little bit of press.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we finally got our chance to have a hands-on demo for it. So, we should also say the developers are Quantic Dream. So they do some of my favorite games, actually. So, such as Beyond Two Souls and
David Cage games.
Heavy Rain, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Just fun, really odd but cool games. Fahrenheit was the other one I quite enjoyed. But yeah, so the setting is near future, where androids are commonplace helper things. They've revolutionized how workforces and all that sort of thing happens, because androids are cool like that. And you are an android negotiator, so for a hostage situation. So the demo plays in that you are called up to a hostage scenario that's in a high-rise apartment?
Yeah.
Suite, I don't know, I guess. Big place. And you have to basically go through the apartment, figure out what's happened by like piecing together clues and whatnot. And then, you have to negotiate with a angry android and try and save a little girl's life.
Yeah.
And that will depend on how well you have researched, like how well you've pieced together the clues prior to you engaging in that scene, and then on your dialogue choices that you make during the actual conversation that you have as you're negotiating. Aww. So it was a very interesting combination of investigatory gameplay and then meaningful dialogue tree options. And you could the game actually tracks your percentage or percentile likelihood of success. So if you say something wrong, it drops. If you find a clue, it goes up, that sort of thing. Yeah. And Luke and I, even though we played at the same time, played it for, I think you played it a little bit shorter than me. I don't know if you rushed through a bit more or something like that.
Yeah, I did, but the reason why is because the game actually puts you under pressure. Like it gives you a very, very clear indication early on that the longer you dilly-dally doing the investigation stuff, the less your chance of being able to talk the dude down from the roof is, because he's getting agitated. So I tried to not take too much time, because I wanted to sort of, get out there and start engaging in that dialogue. So, yeah, it was interesting.
Okay, so I have one question for you for your playthrough. Did one of the police officers get shot in your playthrough?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. So I was wondering if that was because I took too long or not.
I think it is because of that, but yes, it happened to me as well. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, apparently you said that the investigation system is better than the Batman one?
Yeah, so in the Batman Arkham games, like most notably Arkham City, you can actually investigate different crime scenes and sort of get like holographic representations of things that have happened previous to your time being there. And it allows you to sort of scrub through that footage and actually recreate the events of that crime scene. The thing that Detroit did is it was much better with the angles that you could kind of look at and the relevance to different things in the room. So when it presented you with the holographic footage, it actually shows you, it pinpoints a couple of points in that clip that you scrub through to, and it actually reveals a clue. And you need to get through all of them to sort of reveal enough information about that sort of, I guess, piece of evidence to sort of continue on to the next bit. And what it does is it actually opens up information that informs your dialogue choices later on in that scenario. So the one key one that I encountered was there was a cop that had been shot previous to you arriving on the scene. And if you investigate sort of the evidence properly with where that cop went down, you actually find the murder weapon, and then you have the choice as to whether you want to pick that pistol up and take it with you out onto the rooftop or to leave where it is. So I would imagine, I didn't actually pick it up, and I kind of wish that I had, because it would have been interesting to see what impact it had. But I get the feeling that if you take the pistol out onto the rooftop with you, it could have like a dual effect of A, agitating the situation more if you're not careful with how you handle it, or B, could actually give you an additional tool to try and rescue the girl. So yeah, super interesting.
Yeah. So whereas the evidence I found was scanning through, I managed to find the iPad and I managed to break into that and then find out why the android was angry at his owners. So yeah, it's a very interesting system. The thing that struck me the most, in most games when you have dialogue tree options, there's always that little like tiny bit of break in the conversation where you can see it's loading all the results of your choice. I did not notice that with this game, and that made me very, very happy. Everything flowed very seamlessly in this demo. I was genuinely impressed by that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was cool.
I will be checking more out of this game closer to release date, because this looks right up my alley. Shades of grey with crazy androids and near future tech. I am a fan.
Hell yeah. It's probably worth mentioning too that one of the videos that got revealed during the Paris Games Week stuff this week as well was a different scenario within Detroit Beyond Human. So I think we've actually seen 3 now. So there's the hostage situation on the rooftop that we played, which was the initial E3 reveal. There's one that they showed a short time ago, which is actually, there's like a riot in the streets, and it's like androids sort of rising up against humans, and you can choose whether you want to play a part in that as one of the aggressors or one of the ones trying to defuse the situation. But the one that was revealed with the Paris Games Week stuff was you're actually a young girl android who's basically like a caretaker for a young child in a household with a father who looks to be a bit abusive. And you actually have to play a role where you decide on whether you obey the father, who's effectively your master, or you actually sort of, rebel against him to protect the child when the father starts getting drunk and violent and that kind of thing. It looks really like full on. Yeah. You got to watch this video. It immediately just, it hit me hard as how far they're going for it. Like they're not messing around. They're really going for the emotional sort of tie-ins here to see how to resolve that situation. It's pretty full on. So if they're going for super real stuff like that, and there's going to be like a whole bunch of different encounters or short stories within this game, I think it's almost like a Pulp Fiction kind of game, but with androids in a way, if that makes sense. Yeah, man, it's going to be cool. I have heard too that apparently some of the ways that you resolve the different scenarios actually open up additional options with some of the other ones too. So there could be a metagame even beyond that going on with the whole thing as a complete package. So I'm so intrigued. The whole thing has just really got my curiosity up, and now that I've played a bit of it, I just want more. So yeah. It was one of my big surprises of the show, actually. I knew that it was going to be good, but I didn't quite expect it to be this intriguing. So there you go, Detroit Beyond Human. And we still don't know exactly when it's coming, but it's a 2018 release. So one can only hope not too far off. That's it. So that's a bunch of games. We've probably just pause on the games for this week, because we could go on all night if we did not stop now. But we have plenty to circle back on for our second half of the coverage next week. Before we wrap up, is there anything else sort of general PAX-wise that you guys want to shout out on before we sort of wrapped up for tonight?
Yeah, we released just today, so it will, earlier this week in podcast time. I don't know how this works. We did a recording on the show floor at the Audio Technica booth with Pixel Sift, who are another West Australian gaming podcast who have an incredibly heavy focus. They talk about all things indie, and they have a heavy focus, obviously, on Australian indie titles. So they have put out an extraordinary amount of content about PAX and the PAX Rising area in particular. So if you liked any of the games that we talked about, we've got a couple of videos going up, but Pixel Sift have got a stack, and you can listen to the audio version of that episode on our channel now, and there will be a video of that coming out on their channel later, so you can watch us be idiots in the Audio Technica booth. And for background, it was just us standing at a table at a booth with like regular people walking past, so it was just one of the most surreal experiences for me, but thanks to our little audience of other podcast members for hanging in there while we did that.
It was good fun.
It was really good. It was really. I mean, I super enjoyed using some super fancy headphones. They were really good. I didn't want to ask how much those headphones were, but they were very good.
The answer is too much.
The answer is too much. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed hanging out with Gianni and Mitch from Pixel Sift, and I think you'll probably see more collaborations in the future between the two of us, since we are in the same state, and we do like to hang out, and we do have a vested interest. We do both like the indie titles, so that sounds good.
That's it. We should probably also give a special shout out to some of our sort of community friends that we got to hang with across the weekend. So Dinny, who was one of the Omeganauts alongside Mimo last year, and has been listening to the show since. We caught up with him and his crew. So shout out to the Sons of Arcadia. That was Sean and
Big
Andy.
Up the first five.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we did a bunch of gaming and drinking and sort of shenanigans over the weekend, and you guys are all right. We had a good time with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Guys,
looking forward to it
confirmed.
again next year for sure. We need to do that again. So yeah.
There is no doubt. I mean, the Omeganaut. The Omeganaut connection will keep us together regardless, I feel.
Yeah.
It's very, very strong in the little group of Omeganauts.
The games are strong in this one. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's a bunch of stuff. Let's call it there, because I think we probably still have a fair bit of gaming to do this week before we come back and talk about more stuff.
Well, Jam doesn't anymore. She's done.
Yeah,
No,
Jam's done.
she's not done.
Jam
She'll
finished.
just pick up the next character. So, is that your week ahead, Jam? Are you going to be destinying pretty hard, or have you got other stuff that you want to tackle?
I have so many things. There's too much to choose from. I'll probably end up sleeping.
You should
nothing.
play What
Solid
Remains of
backup
Edith
option.
Finch.
I have to
I'm
play
just
that. There's
putting it
so
out
many
there.
I have
Still
to
need to
play.
play that, yeah.
I know you've got lots on, but that's a game that you can play like easily in an afternoon.
Okay,
Easily.
it's an
Do that.
afternoon game.
Yeah.
I might
I
try.
don't have a lot on, but I think I've got the PAX Pox, so we'll see how many beans I have to play games. But yes,
Count them
Do not
beans.
require
Games.
many beans. Yeah.
Yep.
many games, and also getting through Critical Role.
Yes.
Stuff to do. What about you, Memo? What are you focusing on this week?
No, not telling. That'd be telling, wouldn't it?
Oh, secret biz.
Yes, it would.
Secrets.
Ollie, how about you?
Secrets.
I will try to smash out some Destiny, and then don't hold me to this, but I'll try and get some Edith Finch.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it.
But don't hold me to that. I want to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. It's like I don't want to play the game. It's more just I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah,
and we're
there's
going to
just
have
so
the
many.
first iteration of Game Together this weekend, potentially.
So what
which will
is
be fun.
Game Together, Memo? You want to quickly explain the concept?
This is a project that I set for myself because otherwise we were never going to do it. With our group of friends, I have an alarming amount of party games that are local only co-op. So I am going to turf my magical PC out of its home in my study, place it in my lounge room, and invite you, Chuckle Buddies, over to
about to
play
say
local
something much
co-op
ruder.
games. So I'm basically, I nearly did. I got so close to swearing. The Sparkle Kitty is strong in me. And yeah, so I'm going to do it once a month. So once a month, invite all of my friends who want to come over to come and play local co-op video games, because we play a lot of board games together, a lot of RPGs together, but we miss out on playing the sort of fun party games. So we'll do that. We're just going to share the party games around, family. So this weekend we're going to do Jackbox, because we want more people on Jackbox. That'll be hilarious fun, and probably some Tricky Towers.
Oh, yes. Nice. Yeah, that was cool when we played it last time. Yeah. Well, I'm going to Wolfenstein some more this week and hopefully get through that. Do some Destiny, hopefully get up to level 20 over the weekend and start to do some of that content. But I also found out that apparently the second episode of Life is Strange Before the Storm is out. So I'm going to jump in and play that because I've heard good things already. So, yeah, you got a pretty full week of stuff ahead. Have we got any other releases that I've forgotten about coming up in the near future? Because we've kind of just had the...
Probably.
We've had the lion's share this week.
I'm on Melbourne time still, and I'm about half dead, so I've got no idea.
I'm just waiting for Blizzard this coming weekend to announce another expansion or, like, I don't know, a standalone WoW story or WoW on iPad or something to ruin my whole life.
Thank you for reminding me. There will be a Hearthstone expansion announcement this weekend, so I'm probably going to have to get all over that.
There goes your level 20.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, it won't, well, I doubt it'll be out this weekend. I'll probably just announce it, but I don't know, they might release it. Stranger things have happened.
And it's out now.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, well, anyway, we should call it there. Thank you, everybody, again, for hopping on and helping to keep the con crash woes away. Talking about games seems like a good way to do it. So let's book in a time to do that again.
Yeah, if you went to PAX and, like us, you're suffering a little bit or you're suffering a lot, take care of yourself, give yourself a couple little hugs, drink plenty of water, play some good video games. Everything will be fine. Only 360 odd days to go.
That's it. But we will be there for sure.
Not that you're counting.
Yep.
No, not at all.
In the meantime, we'll be putting up a little bit of content this week, so you can check out the YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/channelendgame for more on our highlights from the show floor and various interviews. And of course, you can get in touch with us using all the usual ways. So mail@partyloader.com. We're on Facebook, at Partyloaded Show on Twitter. And if you did happen to attend PAX Oz, please let us know what you thought of the show and anything cool that stood out and was a highlight for you. If you didn't, then maybe think about coming and hanging with us next year. Just saying. Could be a good idea. Yeah.
Grow the crew.
That's it. The crew grows every year. I'm looking forward to making it bigger and better with every passing one. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back again for our next regularly scheduled episode in 7 days. But until then, play lots of games, have lots of fun. We'll talk to you soon. Good night.
Bye, friends.
Goodbye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.